Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 5 best non-gambling cards at each position here in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. So this list is going to have 5 guys at each spot: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, who you can get without gambling. I will be dropping a top 5 cards each position, including gambling cards, that will be posted tomorrow. And unfortunately, that list will likely consist of mostly gambling cards, which is just a shame, but that's the way the game has kind of gone. As is, though, there are a lot of very, very solid non-gambling cards you can get at each position, and then this list breaks it down really, really easily. So hopefully this video helps out a lot of people. But before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Start at the point guard position. Number 5 is going to be the brand new pink diamond Dyson Daniels, a big, versatile 6'7" defender, has a nice release. The thing this card does not have is great SIGs. He has great playmaking badges, but his SIGs are not top tier. Defensively, he is big and very versatile, very good. A very elite defensive point guard. No immovable enforcer is a little unfortunate, and also his shooting badges just need some work. I would upgrade badges on him in that aspect, but he does have a decent 3-ball. He's a good athlete, good speed, great playmaking badges, just unfortunately not very good SIGs. Besides that, MJ dribble style, which is decent. Normal fade, nice, quick, easy release. He's a good card. He's a very good defender. He's got a lot of size. He's solidly athletic. Does a lot of things well, can compete against really any point guard in the game on both ends of the court, which provides a lot of value because he's a really good card for a very affordable price. And I think he's very solid, but I also do think he's only number 5 on this list. Number 4, Sidney Moncrief. Excuse me. I understand this might be, I don't know, some people might prefer Dyson over Moncrief. Dyson is 3 inches taller, but honestly, Moncrief, if you have him badged out with a couple of shooting badges like Limitless, Agent 3, Blinders, you upgrade those, maybe add Bailout, Brick Wall as well. You have a really good, versatile defensive PG. He's better defensively than a guy like Dyson, in my opinion. He's got Gold Immovable Enforcer, very big badge right there. Really, really nice SIGs as well with Kyrie dribble style and Francis size up. Just gives him 2 really easy go-to SIGs, and his release is super nice, and he's got Pro 2 fade. This Moncrief card is actually a stud. He's a very, very good free point guard. Honestly, the point guard position in general, when it comes to non-gambling cards, is still very good. This Moncrief is still a very usable, very good point guard who's going to be an absolute beast in the defensive end of the court as well. And he's an absolute stud at number 4. Number 3 is actually going to be James Harden. I kind of like Moncrief personally a little more than Harden, so I almost kind of want to do this, but I don't know. Harden is growing on me as a card, I will admit. I do think you kind of want to badge him defensively to really get the most out of the card. If you can put some defensive hops on him, give him things like clamps, maybe you want to add anchor and brick wall at least to gold if you can as well. Just getting him a little more defense, adding a Hoff badge or 2, upgrading a couple of the badges he doesn't have will really help the card out, because offensively he is phenomenal. He's a great athlete. He slashes very well. His player build is nice and big, nice and bulky. He's got a good wingspan, super easy release, great SIGs. Very, very good card. He's a super fun card to use as well. An elite level free card, one of the best free cards in the game, and honestly one of the best parts about Season 6 has been the free point guard rewards. So Harden is another great piece of that. But number 2 in my mind, and I understand he's not the offensive card that Harden is, this Caruso is phenomenal. He is just as athletic as Harden is. Great finisher with Hoff fast switch poster as a precision dunker. Hoff Agent 3 catch and shoot, limitless range, blow by, and speed booster. Yes, he's not the playmaker nor the shooter that Harden is, but he's still very solid in both of those areas. Defensively, he is absolutely phenomenal. An elite level top tier defensive point guard. Better even defensively, in my opinion, than Moncrief. He's also an inch taller. He's 6'5". Does not have the wingspan Harden does, but he's a phenomenal, versatile defender. Guards in the interior at a high level. High strength rating. Fast. Super athletic. Release is not insane, but it is on quick. Normal fade is easy to green with an easy upper. MJ dribble style as well as the Steph Curry slide behind the back, which is very, very nice. He's an elite card, and I truly do believe he's top 2 at the point guard position among non-gambling cards. But I do still believe the number 1 spot goes to Austin Reeves because how good he is offensively and how capable he is defensively as well. His shot creation, his fade, his release, all that type of stuff is phenomenal. Amazing shooting badges, amazing playmaking badges, and elite level SIGs. Defensively, he's also very solid. Doesn't have movable forcer, but Hoff Glamps glove, off-ball pass, pretty good stats. He's going to hold it down defensively, and offensively, he's best of the best. I do recommend upgrading his driving dunk, even if you have badges like Hoff Posterizer, Precision Dunker. Those will help as well. But in general, D-Book for dribble style, really good behind the back, Kobe escape, Just great SIGs all the way around. Very easy, fast release and Pro 2 fade, which honestly, this is my favorite Pro 2 fade in the game, Austin Reeves. So this card's on my God squad. He is a top tier point guard. He is one of the best in the game for sure. And I truly believe definitely the best gambling point guard, or non-gambling point guard, I should say, in the game. At the shooting guard position, I feel like I'm going to be spending, this list is going to be really long if I don't speed this up in this video. I don't want this video to be 25 minutes long, and that was a long time to spend on the point guard position. So we're going to speed it up through these next couple of positions. Allen Houston, 6'6", 6'9" wingspan, good card. Not incredible defensively at shooting guard, but very, very solid. Defense on the interior at a high level. The shooting guard position is honestly a very, very versatile position as well in terms of non-gambling cards. A lot of good options. Great release, really good SIGs, dunks the ball at a pretty high level, Pro 2 fade. Honestly, there's nothing this card does not do at a pretty solid level. He's a really, really nice option, and I think, honestly, you could argue higher than number 5. Another really good non-gambling shooting guard, Andrew Wiggins, who's also totally free, can be still attained from the Rush promo, although he might have expired now. Has he expired? No, he came out last week, so there's still almost another week to get this Wiggins card. Not a hard grind if you haven't gotten him yet. It only took me about like 3 hours. Would recommend getting him for sure if you need a shooting guard upgrade, because he's easy to get, he's quick to get, he's big, versatile, great defender, can guard in the interior at a pretty high level as well. Very athletic, really good shooter, nice release. SIGs aren't the best of the best. That's the one thing I'd nitpick if there is the thing to nitpick. D-book dribble style is nice. His fade is nice, but the rest of his SIGs aren't incredible. That's kind of the one thing to nitpick with Wiggins, but he's also a really good card. Havlicek, speaking of free shooting guards from this season, there are 3 amazing ones at shooting guard as well. Just like at point guard, 3 great free shooting guards in my team from this season, with Hondo being just an incredible 3-hunter. Amazing release, top tier fade, top tier SIGs, besides his same side hezzy, which isn't good, but also he's an amazing defender, really versatile defensively. 2K souped the heck out of John Hondo. He doesn't have a movable enforcer, and unfortunately his same side hezzy does kind of suck, and that's a couple things that you can kind of complain about, but in general, he is elite in a ton of areas. Top tier SIGs outside of that same side hezzy, top tier release, top tier fade, just an elite level card, and definitely one of the better shooting guards in the game. It's just the shooting guard position is so deep. A guy like Grant Hill, who admittedly isn't on very many teams, he's not a gambling only card, but he is a collector level card, so he's kind of hard to get. But at the same time, he is not gambling only, so he does deserve to be on the list. And he's 6'8", really versatile defensively, super complete stat and badge-wise all the way around. Super athletic, big, versatile, good SIGs, all the way around, like really good SIGs as well, which is super nice. And a very easy, smooth release. He is a stud, but I just can't not put Kobe at number 1 at shooting guard. I just can't. He's the best. When it comes to these guys, there are a couple gambling shooting guards that I will admit are probably better than Pink Diamond Kobe. But he's just so good. There's probably been a list where I've ranked Grant Hill over Kobe, and it's just I can't put cards over this Kobe. I am the most comfortable I am with any card in the game using Kobe Bryant when it comes to running offense. He is an incredibly elite top tier card. On the offensive end of the court especially, I understand he's not as complete badge-wise as somebody's card, but he's still incredibly complete statistically. He has top-tier animations. He's one of the best cards in the game still to this day, and he will be my number 1 shooting guard still. Small forward, we start with, honestly, a couple of, I wouldn't say outdated, but slightly older cards. Scottie Pippen is just a great 3-and-D. Really nice release. Good slasher, very nice shooter, and defensively phenomenal. Does a lot of things well on the defensive end. 6'8", does have movable enforcer on gold. Really good card with, like I said, an awesome release. If you use Scottie Pippen at all in the last 2Ks, you know how smooth and easy his release is. SIGs admittedly aren't very good. Pro dribble style is okay, but outside of that, not much there. So that's not great. Beasley is pretty much exclusively a shooter. He is very athletic as well, but he has one of the best releases in the game. That's really the thing that makes Beasley great, is how good of a shooter he truly is. Playmaking is also pretty good, but he just doesn't have top tier SIGs besides Kobe dribble style, which admittedly is pretty good. But the rest of his SIGs aren't great. Defensively, he's good, but nothing special. I like the card. I think he's kind of like the non-gambling version of a Rudy Gay is kind of the best way to describe this card. The top 3 is a good step up, though, I would say, in terms of the quality of these cards. I really like this Rodman. I understand his release is not extraordinary, and also understand he has a low pass accuracy. I don't think that matters that much, in all honesty. He greens the ball at a high level. He's got Jamal Murray behind the back. He literally has every single defensive badge in the game on Hall of Fame, every single one. He is an incredible card in a ton of different ways, and he does shoot the ball really well. If y'all are doubting how good this Rodman card is, go watch the gameplay that I put out with him yesterday. He is an absolute stud who is a top tier option at the small forward position. I truly believe that. That being said, Worthy does have a better release. Although Worthy is not as good of a shot creator, if you need shot creation at small forward, I would switch these two. It just depends on what you're looking for at your small forward position. But Worthy, while not being quite as good of a shot creator, still has a pretty good behind the back. He has a better release than Rodman does. He's 6'9", also an elite level defender. Just like Rodman, is not quite as complete, I guess, but still very, very, very good. Couple inches taller, super athletic, and I will say, prefer his release to Rodman's. It's just that his SIGs, I don't like his escape. His behind the back's pretty good, but I don't know. I think these two guys are very interchangeable. If you wanted to switch them back, I would not argue with you. This is how I'm going with it personally. Tyrus Thomas is the best small forward in the game, though, that is not a gambling small forward, and that's not even close. He might be the best small forward, including gambling small forwards, depending on how good you are with the card and how much you badge him out. Yes, he needs shooting badges, but you got to add him, because otherwise he's just insane. He's an incredibly top-tier defender, just like those guys are. He's also an elite-level athlete, just like those guys are. 6'9", just like Worthy. But like Michael Beasley, he's got one of the best, fastest releases, best bases in the game, with an elite level upper. Nate Robinson fade, by the way, to the left is incredible, and he's got top tier SIGs. He's got everything he needs to be a primary ball handler. He is the only small forward in the game that I kind of think is a primary ball handler in a lot of ways, and with badge upgrades, he is just one of the best cards in the game, period. So definitely, in my opinion, the best non-gambling small forward. This video is already at almost 11 minutes. I apologize for the length of this video, but I hope y'all are enjoying. I'm trying to give a decent explanation for each card, not waste too much time, but also not blow through every card. Jaren, honestly, here's the thing about Jaren. At power forward, he's just not much of a playmaker. That's his biggest weakness. Also, on the perimeter, he's not like the most complete. He's missing some badges. He's not quite as good as like some of the best of the best at this point, but he's got a really smooth release. He's a great defender. He dunks the ball at a high level. Very, very good card. I just think number 5 is probably fair at power forward. Number 4 is going to be AD. AD is basically Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, they do the same thing. AD is a slightly better playmaker. Jaren's release is probably slightly better. AD's maybe a little more complete defensively, but in all honesty, they're pretty close to the same card. They both give you the exact same thing on the court, in all honesty, which is a big who is a versatile defender with good size who can stretch the floor and kind of put it on the floor a little bit. AD does that a little more. I give AD the slight edge. They're both really good budget options, or I guess Jaren is free. AD is not budget, I guess, but a lot of people do have him. Yeah, I don't know. Both very, very good options. I would say number 3 is actually Kevin Love. I really like this card. I know he's only 6'8", but he's got a good player build, elite release, really solid SIGs, has a great fade, dunks the ball at a pretty high level. I mean, they really did soup up. 2K souped up this Kevin Love. It's young K Love, and he is souped like it. A little slow for a power forward, but not too bad. Really solid defender, amazing release, amazing shooter. He's an elite popper. He puts the ball on the floor at a pretty high level as well, and his fade is great, Pro 2 fade. He is really, really good, and people sleep on this K Love. He's a stud. Number 2 is going to be Moses Malone. Moses is obviously a phenomenal free card, really fast, defends at a super high level for a power forward. He is an elite interior finisher, does need some shooting badges upgraded, but he's one of the more versatile and elite power forwards in the game, especially considering the elite level athletic ability and speed that he has as well. Really can compete with close to any big in the game at a high level on both ends of the court. Alperen Sengun is number 1, though. He's just the best playmaker of all these guys, has a really nice release, also a really good defender, just like Moses, just like all these guys. He's a very good defender, but he's got the most versatility offensively out of any of them. Can put the ball on the floor at a high level, real threat as a popper, very, very complete badge-wise, even without being upgraded on his badges. So I just think Sengun, when you look at this card, he's a little... I think he's definitively the best out of the power forward options right now. Just the versatility and completeness of this card, even as a base card, is absolutely phenomenal, and I think he's a top tier free card in my team, not just at the power forward positions, but just in general. He's one of the very best in the game. Bryant Reeves is number 5 at center. I will say the center position when it comes to non-gambling cards is a little weaker. Would have been really nice to see a rush card or something as a center, but unfortunately, we haven't seen one. Bryant Reeves isn't bad, though. He's a 7-footer, 7'2" wingspan. Actually has a really, really smooth, easy release. So, yes, the 3-ball rating is kind of low, but he's just got a very smooth release. He's also a very good dunker and a very good interior defender with some perimeter defensive ability as well, I guess. He's really not a bad card. He can catch and shoot at a pretty high level because his release, like I said, even on normal, is actually very easy and very good. If y'all don't believe me, go watch the gameplay I did with him. I was very impressed. He may not be the best card in the world, but he gets the job done in terms of guarding on the interior, rebounding, dunking on the interior, and then knocking down his open shots, and that is enough for me. At the end of the day, Wembanyama, Pink Diamond, obviously, unfortunately, is going to be number 4. I wish Dark Matter Wemby was attainable, but he is not without gambling your life savings away, and even then, you still might not get the card. Pink Diamond Wemby, though, is still a very solid substitute. He is tall. He is decent speed. He's not fast, but he's just so big that it doesn't feel like a huge liability speed-wise. Defensively, he's very good on the interior, especially with his size. He plays lanes pretty well. He really does open threes at a high level, but in general, he isn't insanely complete badge-wise. He's just not quite as good as some of the newer centers in the game. Unfortunately, the center position, I think, is the one that is the most affected by these gambling-only cards, because there are some really good gambling-only bigs that just kind of separate themselves. But I will say the top 3 is a good chunk better, I think, when it comes to these non-gambling centers. KP is really good. He is a great stretch big who actually competes on the interior at a pretty high level, does not feel slow at all. I don't feel like, I mean, he's not super fast, but he's not a liability speed-wise at all. Defensively, he really does compete, especially if you upgrade some stuff to Hall of Fame. At 7'3", with decent strength rating and like actually decent stats, he really does compete on the interior at a pretty high level. Dunks the ball at a really high level, better than you would think with the Pink Diamond KP, and he's obviously one of the best stretch bigs in the game with a very smooth, easy release. I like the card. I think I wouldn't say KP's slept on at all, but I just think he's really good. I'm very impressed by what he's able to do on the court. The last 2, I will admit, are definitely, I think, my 2 favorite easily of the center position. If you have these 2 guys, you don't need gambling bigs at your center position. But if you don't have these top 2, I really think you're at a little bit of a disadvantage against the top gambling bigs. The thing about Tyson Chandler is he is so phenomenal athletically, size-wise, player build, and defensively, as well as a finisher offensively. He doesn't feel slow. He doesn't feel behind. He doesn't feel weak. He doesn't feel anything. Against the best bigs in the game, he is going to compete physically and athletically with all of them. The thing is, he's not quite the shooter and playmaker those guys are. At the same time, they gave him a great release, and he also has Kobe escape. If you put some badges on him, some shooting and some playmaking, mix some stuff in depending on what you want to put on him, you can really turn Tyson Chandler into a phenomenal card. And people sleep on how good he is at this point in the game because he's not an elite level shooter and doesn't have insane badge completeness in terms of his shooting and playmaking. If you badge him out properly and really soup him up, he is an absolute dog. But even without it, he's going to compete physically against the best bigs in the game, which provides a lot of value. Honestly, the same thing can be said for Dino Raja. He is just physically capable. 6'11" with a 7'11" wingspan, super long arms, very massive player build, and good speed. Near basically 90 speed. With a shoe, it's 93. With a coach, that's 97. Like, really good. He's going to put the ball on the floor pretty well. He needs some shooting badges, yes, but he's more complete badge-wise than Tyson is. He's a great interior defender who's really physically capable. Great rebounder. Super long arms obviously helps a lot. Incredibly athletic. And yes, the 3-ball rating's a little low, but just like Tyson, it's a nice, smooth, easy release. Very good. He can put the ball on the floor. It's a couple of decent sigs. Really good card. I think if you have Dino and Tyson, especially if you haven't badged out, those 2 guys can compete at a very high level against every gambling big in the game. I know Wemby's kind of OP, but outside of Wemby, like everybody else, they will be fine. It's just, I don't know. Outside of those 2 guys, the center position's a little weak. And honestly, the non-gambling cards, it's just a real disappointment the way the 2K has been doing this. But I know this video has already gone on long enough. A near 18-minute video is much longer than I generally upload. But I hope y'all did enjoy the video. And if you did, make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very soon. And I appreciate y'all. Peace.